Come on in, come on in, come on in, my friend. It has been a while. It's been a little while since I have been back with you, but I am glad to be here. Come on in and just make yourself at home. Give me one moment here. There you are. As you come on, you know what to do. Give me those hearts. Give me those likes. Give me those thumbs up. All that good energy is very much appreciated. Get in the comments section. Let me know where you're coming in from. And if you would do me a favor, share this show. I always appreciate that. And if you're watching on YouTube, you know what to do as well. Make sure that you give me those thumbs ups. Make sure you subscribe and ding, make sure you hit that bell. All right, fam, let's get into this thing. Let's not take any moments to delay. We're talking about the CBC. It's been a while since I've talked about them. Betrays the black community again. And I don't even know why I said again. They've never really stopped. So that's kind of like an oxymoron to say again. But let's kind of get into and see what these rapscallions, these cowards have been up to. So these are the 7 Congressional Black Caucus members that have not signed on to H.R. 40. So that's who this group of cowards are. So so what I did, for those who are joining me now who may not understand what's going on, what I've done is I've looked at their Twitter handles, because I figured if you haven't signed on to the H.R. 40 study for reparations, obviously you must be working really hard in other areas for the black community. So I went on their Twitter handle to see what exactly they're tweeting about. And now ADOS tweet is one about reparations, ending mass incarceration, or closing the racial wealth gap. So let's see how busy these people, these cowards, the sorry 7, as I like to call them, let's see how busy they were with dealing with the black community. So Emmanuel Cleaver, he's been serving since 2005 out the great state of Missouri, the show me state. Well, Emmanuel hasn't been, hey, Harold, hey, dog, welcome. Emmanuel hasn't been showing the black community much of anything, especially not much love. He had 24 tweets during this period of 8/25 to 8/31. 0 were about reparations, ending mass incarceration, and closing the racial wealth gap. Mr. Mark Vesey, 2013, embarrassing my state, my great state of Texas. He had 14 tweets, 0 ADOS tweets. Mr. Stephen Horsford, 2018. Now, what's unusual about this next grouping of people is they are, hey, Shayna, they are all freshmen. So they're freshman Congress people. And they're already showing out. They're already showing disdain for the black community. I just wonder, how much longer are we going to take this kind of disrespect? Stephen Horsfield out of Nevada, 19 tweets, 0 ADOS tweets. Colin Allred, 2018, out of Texas, while Texas is not looking good, 11 tweets, 0 ADOS tweets. Antonio Delgado, 2018, out of New York, 31 tweets, 0 ADOS tweets. Harold, what do you think about these sorry self-service? Dog, thank you for the thumbs up. I love that engagement, that energy. Thank you. And now we get to the ladies. Oh, yeah, we have to fit the ladies in. Lauren Underwood, since 2018, Illinois, out of the great state of Illinois, where my beautiful sister-in-law is, in Chicago, that Chicago area. 10 tweets, 0 ADOS tweets. And Miss Lucy McBath, 2018, out of Georgia. I know my Georgia people, hey, Tina, I know my Georgia people are really being embarrassed by Ms. Bath and her just lack of signing on. It's really, really sad, outrageous. I agree with you, Harold. It is sad, sickening, and outrageous. 0. They are doing 0 for the ADOS community. It is tragic. It is horrible what they're doing. So obviously, I didn't even put grades up there. 0 into any of these is going to be a 0. They're getting an F. My question is to the ADOS community, how much longer are we going to allow this to happen? How much longer are we going to sit on our hands and not call these people, not call them out, hey, Brenda, about their lack of support for our communities? We've got to get on the ball. We've got to get busy. We've got to get busy doing so. We need to be tweeting these people. We need to be calling them. Their time in office should be miserable. It should be miserable. And we need to make a commitment that we're going to get into their grill. We're gonna get with them. We're gonna give them the business. Hey Keith, what's up? Hey, do me a favor, everybody. Can you share the show? I want to make sure that everybody sees this embarrassment here, because this is certainly embarrassing. All right. So let's go to our story of the week. What is this is exactly how much are legendary civil rights organizations still fighting for Black people? I want you, oh boy, I tell you, I think you're right, Keith. I want you to put a number in the comments of how much you believe the legendary civil rights organizations are still fighting for Black people. Let me put my number in there right now. Give me one moment. Let me give them a big number here. I'm going to put a big, gigantic number right there. There's my number. That's what I believe. That's how much I believe they're fighting for Black people. We got Reverend Al. Oh, we got them all. We got the NAACP. We got the Urban League. Oh, we got them all showing up. Just a disgrace, just sickening. But we're going to get into this story. It says, then there's the case. I skipped through all the other stuff, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. Then I agree with you, Brenda, zero. Yeah, zero. That's what they get. Then there's a case where these same civil rights groups align themselves with companies like Comcast, Harold, zero. Yeah, Comcast, Charter, and others. They receive seats on corporate boards, so they're getting paid, funding for their pet projects and events, and a broadcast platform through which they circulate their doctrine. This largesse poses as a conflict of interest for these organizations and may serve as a gag order against them. So do you wonder why the NAACP, the Urban League, and Reverend Al ain't really pushing against these groups? Yeah, keep zero. I agree with you. Zero. That's what you're getting, zero. These telecom giants, including Comcast, AT&T, Charter Communications, and Verizon, created the multicultural, might as well tell you, people of color, Media, Telecom, Internet Council, MMTC, as an astroturf lobbying scheme to pay off civil rights groups and create the illusion that there is community-based support for the industry's policy stance. The NAACP enjoys fundraising partnerships, or I like to call them NCRAP, enjoys fundraising partnership with AT&T, Verizon, and Comcast, which gave them $1.8 billion with a B in cash payouts to various community groups in recent years, while the Urban League received $1.2 million from Verizon in 2014 and placed telecom executives on its board. Can you say bought and paid for? Can you say bought off? The League of United Latin American Citizens, LULAC, another MMTC member, received $1.5 million from AT&T in 2006. Hey, Ricky, welcome. And $1 million from Verizon in 2008. Corporations will not dole out that kind of paper without expecting something in return. You already understand. Byron Allen, CEO of Entertainment Studios and the National Association of African American Owned Media, filed a complaint against Comcast and Charter Communications and Reverend Al, too, specifically naming him, accusing the companies of blocking African American channels from their roster and developing a memorandum of understanding with the NAACP, the National Urban League, and the National Action Network, Reverend Al, as a sham to whitewash Comcast's discriminatory business practices. The suit was filed under Section 1981 of the Civil Rights Act of 1866. Had to go back to 1866, and this applies to us today. So we really want to make sure that we stay on top of this. A Reconstruction era law which prohibits racial discrimination in making and enforcing contracts. It has now reached the U.S. Supreme Court. Trump's Department of Justice, so 45, had to stick his nose in under Attorney General William Barr, which has proven itself to be no friend of Black lives, has intervened, filing a brief in the case in support of Comcast. See, fam, here's the deal. Comcast has really come against Trump. Trump hates Comcast. But you understand, when it comes to white supremacy, at the end of the day, they're going to come together. They know how to work together. So, turning the civil rights law meant to protect black people and flipping it on its head, Trump's Department of Justice argues that entertainment studios, or if passed, any business owned by a person of color, has to prove under Section 1981 that race was Comcast's sole motivating factor in denying the company a contract. Not simply a reason, but the only reason. And see, fam, that's the problem with this lawsuit. If this passes, then that bar is set so high, you'd have to say that that was Comcast's only reason, sole motivating factor, not a reason. And so that bar is going to be set so high, no company is going to be able to meet that. You can't meet that level. And so Comcast knows that. And so that's where we're at. And sadly, disgustingly, Trump, 45, his Department of Justice had to get in on it. Boy, I tell you, thick as thieves. Ooh, boy, I tell you, racism makes strange bedfellows. It really does. In a nation where discrimination is rampant, reinterpreting this 150-year-old statute sets a dangerous precedent. This from a White House that wants to make America great again by disappearing black people, preventing the victims of racism from getting justice, and letting corporations off the hook for their discriminatory practices. We know where Trump stands on the case, and he seeks to dismantle civil rights and guard against white genocide. But where do the legendary civil rights organizations stand? I think we already know where they stand. They have been silent, and one must ask if their silence has been bought with chicken dinners, or maybe it was bought by that Popeye's chicken sandwich. I don't know. I don't know, but it's disgusting, and it's really, really sad. Speaking of disgusting and sad, fam, you know what time it is. We have come to my favorite time of the show. Dun, 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 our Sambo of the Week. Yes. Yes, I have missed this award, missed giving it out. So let's see who our Sambo of the Week is this week. And it's none other than one of the Sorry Seven, Representative Stephen Horsford. Oh, it says the president claims that mental illness and violent video games are spurring on gun violence epidemic. Boy, it actually is at the root of the problem. Shows a picture of a young black boy. Okay, all right, okay, Stephen, I see you. Then he goes on. Now remember, he's got all these black images, but he can't bother to sign on to HR 40. He can't do that. But now we can always use black images, symbol over substance. On this date, 1967, Thurgood Marshall made history as the first, and he wants #black. Oh, he playing up the black card now. Oh, he throwing it down. He is throwing down the black card. Court justice. Today, we must continue to strive to live by Justice Marshall's words and recognize the humanity of our fellow beings. We pay ourselves the highest tribute. Oh, he's black now. Oh, and look at that, Mr. Harford. He went to the well one more time. He went to the black well one more time. Now we had to bring up Dr. King in his march. Oh, civil rights march. Oh, he's good for that. But then this is the one that took me over the top. This is the one I just couldn't stomach him anymore. This is the one where he really won the award. He just outpaced everybody. 64 years ago, the 14-year-old Emmett Till was lynched in Mississippi, a victim of hatred and racism. Emmett Till's death shone a light on the ignorance that infiltrated our country. It means a lesson against allowing bigotry to remain supreme today. So I couldn't let that go unanswered, fam. So I had to tweet him myself. I says, you are not fit to have this boy's name in your mouth. How can you talk about him and not have signed on the HR 40, the study for reparations? You should be ashamed of yourself. And that's why Stephen Horsford is our Sambo of the Week. And so with that being said, fam, I am out of here. For the latest ADOS news you can use, just subscribe to my YouTube channel at www.SeanEHill.com. And let's get on these people, family. Let's stop allowing them to run roughshod over our community and not represent us the way we need to be represented. With that said, fam, I hope and you have a wonderful rest of your evening. Until the next video, I'll see you later. Goodbye.